Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Speak English Corner. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. In this episode, I'd like to share with you one of the most memorable trips I have ever taken in my life. It was a journey to Hội An Ancient Town and Da Nang, two beautiful places in central Vietnam that left a deep impression on me. When I think back to that trip, I can still feel the warm sunshine on my skin, hear the gentle waves by the beach, and picture the colorful lanterns lighting up the night sky in Hội An. It was more than just a trip. It was a collection of little moments that made me feel calm, inspired, and truly alive. In the next 15 minutes, I'll take you along with me on this journey. I will talk about the atmosphere of the old streets in Hội An, the delicious food I tried, the peaceful beach in Da Nang, and the unforgettable experiences I had with local people. So, sit back, relax, and let me guide you through the sights, sounds, and feelings of my trip. I hope that, while listening, you will not only practice your English, but also feel the joy of traveling with me. This is the story of a memorable trip to Hội An and Da Nang. Let's begin. The trip began early in the morning. I remember waking up before sunrise, packing my small suitcase, and feeling a strong sense of excitement. Even though I had seen many photos of Hội An and Da Nang before, I knew that experiencing them in real life would be completely different. I took a bus that traveled along the coastline of central Vietnam. The view from the window was breathtaking. On one side, I could see the endless blue ocean stretching far into the horizon. On the other side, there were green mountains and small villages that gave me a sense of peace. The ride itself felt like the beginning of an adventure. As the bus moved closer to Quang Nam Province, the place where Hội An is located, I started to notice a change in the scenery. The roads became smaller, the houses looked more traditional, and the atmosphere grew calmer. It felt like time was slowing down, preparing me for the ancient beauty of Hội An. When I finally arrived at the bus stop, I took a short ride to the old town. The moment I entered Hội An, I was amazed. The streets were narrow, paved with stones, and lined with yellow walls that had aged beautifully over the years. Everywhere I looked, there were colorful lanterns hanging above the streets, gently moving with the wind. The first thing I did was take a slow walk around the old quarter. The town was not too crowded at that time of the day, so I could really enjoy the peaceful atmosphere. I noticed the wooden houses with their unique architecture, the small shops selling handmade crafts, and the friendly smiles of local people. It felt like stepping back in time, into a world where life was simpler and slower. I also remember the smell of food coming from the street vendors. It was a mixture of fresh herbs, grilled meat, and something sweet that I couldn't resist. That smell made me even more excited for the meals I would have later in the day. Reaching Hội An was not just about traveling from one place to another. It was about leaving behind the noise of the city and entering a different rhythm of life. The journey itself was already a special part of the trip, filling me with curiosity about what I would discover next. Walking through Hoi An ancient town felt like entering a living museum. Every corner of the town had a story to tell. The yellow painted houses with wooden shutters, the old temples, and the small shops along the narrow streets created a magical atmosphere. I started my exploration at the Japanese covered bridge, one of the most famous landmarks of Hoi An. The bridge was built in the 16th century and connected the Japanese community with the Chinese quarter. Standing on that bridge, I felt the weight of history. It was more than just a structure. It was a symbol of cultural exchange and friendship. As I continued walking, I noticed how vibrant the town was. During the day, sunlight reflected off the yellow walls, making the entire place look warm and welcoming. At night, the lanterns lit up, turning the streets into a colorful dreamland. The sound of bicycles, the laughter of children, and the gentle chatter of tourists blended into a soft melody of daily life. I also visited some traditional houses that were open to visitors. Inside, I could see antique furniture, family altars, and old photographs. The owners welcomed guests warmly, sharing stories about their ancestors and traditions. It was fascinating to learn how families had preserved their heritage for centuries. Hoi An was not just about architecture, it was about people. Everywhere I went, I felt the friendliness of the locals. Some invited me to try handmade crafts, others offered food samples, and many simply smiled as I passed by. That human connection made the town feel even more special. One of the most unforgettable experiences in Hoi An was the Night of Lanterns. As the sun set, the entire town transformed. The colorful lanterns were lit, reflecting beautifully on the Thu Ban River. The streets glowed with red, yellow, green, and blue lights, creating a magical and romantic atmosphere. I joined the locals and tourists in releasing small paper lanterns onto the river. Each lantern carried a wish, floating gently with the water. Watching hundreds of lanterns drift away was like watching dreams being carried into the night. It was peaceful, hopeful, and deeply moving. I also took a short boat ride on the river. From the boat, I could see the shimmering reflections of the lanterns on the water, the gentle sound of the paddle, the cool breeze, and the colorful lights created a moment that I will never forget. It felt like time had stopped, and I was simply living in that beautiful moment. No trip to Hoi An would be complete without enjoying the food. Hoi An is famous for its unique dishes that cannot be found anywhere else. I started with chow lau, a noodle dish made with thick noodles, slices of pork, fresh herbs, and crispy crackers. What made it special was the water used to make the noodles, which came from a centuries-old well in Hoi An. The flavor was rich, balanced, and unforgettable. Next, I tried banh mi phuong, a famous Vietnamese sandwich shop in Hoi An. The bread was crispy on the outside, soft inside, and filled with meat, vegetables, and special sauces. Even though it was just a simple sandwich, it tasted like perfection. Another favorite was white rose dumplings, a delicate dish made from thin rice wrappers shaped like roses, filled with shrimp and herbs. The dish looked as beautiful as it tasted. Every meal I had in Hoi An was not just about eating. It was about experiencing the culture and the love that people put into their cooking. Looking back, my trip to Hoi An was much more than sightseeing. It was about discovering history, culture, people, and even myself. I learned that life in Hoi An moved at a slower pace. People valued tradition, community, and harmony with nature. This reminded me to slow down in my own life and appreciate the little things around me. The most memorable part was the feeling of peace. Whether it was walking along the lantern-lit streets, sitting by the river, or enjoying a bowl of noodles, I felt present in every moment. It was a reminder that happiness can be found in simple experiences. This trip to Hoi An was truly unforgettable. From the journey to the town, the ancient streets, the lantern nights, the delicious food, to the kind-hearted people, every part of the trip left a deep impression on me. If you ever have the chance to visit Vietnam, I highly recommend visiting Hoi An. It is not just a destination, it is an experience that will stay with you forever. Thank you for listening to my story about a memorable trip to Hoi An. I hope this story inspires you to explore new places, appreciate culture, and create your own meaningful memories.